I'm a 24-year-old multi-millionaire from crypto and online business. I've got no university degree. I never have worked a 9-to-5 in my entire life. Yet I've managed to make more money than most people can ever make in their entire life. But I just want to emphasize what I've been able to pull off within just 4 years. I had $5,000 about 4 years ago when I was 20 years old. For anyone watching this who wants to make millions of dollars in their 20s, who wants to take a faster path to wealth, to freedom, there's some core insights that I've learned about what you should be focusing your time on, what are the best industries, the best approaches, to give you a clear idea of what you need to be focusing on in order to make millions of dollars in your 20s. So let's get into it. All right, so what does it take to make millions of dollars in your 20s? Well, the most important part of making lots of money in your 20s, in my opinion, is the positioning of what industry you place yourself in. As a disclaimer, making money as fast as possible isn't necessarily the best goal, but it is one factor that you should consider for in what you choose to do with your life. You shouldn't be pursuing something that's going to make you $1 million when you're 70. Maybe that's not the best industry to place yourself in. Maybe there's something you enjoy that can make you $1 million in your 20s. But if you're purely looking at what gets the fastest results so that you can make as much money as fast as possible, the number one thing that is going to contribute to this is the industry that you place yourself into. Whenever you see young, successful people online making millions of dollars, every single fucking time, the way that they made money was something new. For example, the youngest, richest dudes that I see online right now are making money from Snapchat shows. Literally, they will create fake drama about celebrities and they'll create some sort of multiple Snapchat collage show. And then within the show, they place ads for certain products. And the kids doing this are like 16 years old and they're making millions of dollars. Other people are making millions of dollars from the coaching industry. They have courses teaching you how to make money from e-commerce, high ticket sales, all these new ways to make money. So the coaching industry is another way that young people are making millions of dollars. Names in this industry include guys like Luke Alexander, Iman Gadzhi, Andrew Tate. So like the way that these people are making millions of dollars in a fast amount of time is through booming industries. And these booming industries are generally speaking new industries where everything's at the bleeding edge of innovation. And the reason why someone who's 16 years old can make $5 million from Snapchat shows is because the industry is so new that A, no one knows about it, but also B, there's a very low barrier to entry. In order to make a Snapchat show, you maybe have 6 months, 12 months, maybe 2 years of learning. Because the industry is so new, no one in the industry has built up experience. The playing field is equal. If you go into insurance, the industry that's existed maybe for hundreds of years, you're competing against people who've been building systems, who've been competing against others in the industry for literally hundreds of years. When you try to make a Snapchat show, you're like one of the first people to ever do this in the past few years. Your competition is very low. The barrier to entry is very low, and so the time it takes for you to get up to the higher levels is very quick. And assuming the industry that you place yourself into, which you can get good at quick, is one that's going to boom in the future, you're able to make a lot of money from it. And this is why you got to become a lawyer. It's going to be like 10, 15 years until you make your first million probably. Because you got to go through 6 years of the degree, and then you've got to go through the internship, lower level jobs, and then you build up to the 200, 300K a year jobs, and then you're making your millions. It's a very slow path. For example, becoming a lawyer, engineer, doctor, working at an insurance company, any of these traditional paths, it's going to look more like the red. You're going to get the millions of dollars. It's just going to take you into your 30s and 40s. The green path is more like the online business space. Like, you're going to make millions, assuming you succeed, a lot faster. And that's what I was able to do. How did I make more money than my entire last name in their whole entire lives in 4 years? Well, I just focused on booming industry of crypto and online education. So for example, here is the estimated growth of the online education market. Just $30 billion in 2021, estimated this year to go, it's to double, right? And by 2030, $180 billion industry. I'm sure if we look at the actual stats of what the education industry is actually doing right now, because this is an old chart, it's gone up massively. Probably more than expectations because we went through COVID and COVID massively boosted the online space. And so when you combine me focusing on the online education market, teaching crypto, which has gone parabolically since 2017 and even earlier than that. So how did I make all this money so fast? Position myself in a booming, new, bleeding edge industry that was growing. And then I became someone that was established in this industry with actually good at what they were teaching, right? And the beauty of crypto is that to go from nothing to able to make millions and millions of dollars is 3 to 5 years. Name me another career path that in 3 years you could make millions of dollars. There's maybe a couple career paths that could get you that. But generally speaking, if you would like to make a lot of money in a fast amount of time, the only paths you really have to pick is online business. So e-commerce, affiliate marketing, I guess dropshipping is also e-commerce, freelancing, copywriting, any sort of personal brand, coaching business, TikTok shop, organic content marketing. You've got crypto, so investing, trading, equity in a tech startup. For example, if you look at NVIDIA employees, 70% of NVIDIA employees are a millionaire. How many companies in the world are 70% of employees millionaires? I don't think there's any other company where 70% of its employees are millionaires. I don't think that's a thing. Because NVIDIA, they give small amounts of equity to their employees. NVIDIA has gone up parabolically. Now they're all millionaires. And then obviously if you become a famous artist, there's so many artists who are in their 20s who make a lot of money from music, from rapping, maybe a world famous pianist. Maybe sports as well is another example I could put here, but sports is less, okay? But this is really the only paths you can take. Booming industries where the skill acquisition phase is 3 to 5 years, where the barrier to entry is very low and where there's obviously going to be a lot of growth. Okay, that's what you want to find because everyone makes money in a bull run. You guys know this as a lesson from crypto, right? If you want to make money in crypto, the easiest time to do it is when there's a bull market, when things are going to new all-time highs. We all know this. It's the same thing in industries that you want to work in for income. When you're in an industry that's making all-time highs on its annual GDP or I guess annual just revenue, you're in an industry where money is easy to make. If you place yourself in the news agency industry, you're probably not going to be making tons of money because it's a dying industry. Place yourself in the VR industry, in the AI industry, crypto industry, any of these new industries, you're going to be printing. Massive demand with low supply equals even mid businesses thrive. A classic example of this is a university degree versus a crypto paid group or a e-commerce coaching program. Both are teaching you the same sort of thing, how to make money. They're teaching you the skills and knowledge to make money from working in or building your own business, right? Same thing. University degree, you pay 5 to 10,000 a year in Australia. You will get an actual physical campus that you go to. You'll have professors with decades of experience, a fully built out online portal. You get pretty good experience for 10,000 a year. You join a $10,000 a year e-commerce coaching program. You get 10 hours of video content, one call with the guy who launched the program, maybe a weekly coaching call, and that's it. There's no physical campus. There's no decades of experienced professors. What you get in a uni degree versus what you get in a pay group is completely and unfathomably different in terms of the quality. Now, how come they're both able to charge the same price? Well, the reason is because there is massive demand for online education and there's just not much businesses that can answer this demand. And so consumers have to go to lower quality sources of information and lower quality groups because they're the only ones that exist. A university has established itself over hundreds of years. They've had time to build the systems. An e-commerce coaching program, most of them haven't existed for more than 2 years, right? They're all new businesses. So this is just to give you an example of how different a product looks and how much you can get away with as a business owner by building in a new industry versus an old sort of long existing industry. And number C, how else can you make millions of dollars in your 20s fast? You need to develop the skills which can make you heaps of money in the fastest time. In my opinion, the skills which do this is content creation, marketing, sales, and in addition to these, one value proposition skill. So if you look at my business, how does mine work? I create videos and I tweet. I post these videos online with marketing, so nice thumbnails, nice titles as marketing, right? I have offers where I have a website, a landing page where there's sales, there's copywriting, there's maybe a sales process, and the value proposition skill is I know how to make money from crypto. So you combine the 4 most essential skills that you learn and can make you the most money in the fastest time in a growing sector of crypto and online education, and you give yourself the perfect setup to make the most amount of money in the fastest amount of time. Now, one little caveat to all of this is that you might be watching this and you might hate marketing, hate sales, hate content creation, hate crypto. You might hate everything that I do within my personal business. You might hate the idea of making an e-commerce business. You might not necessarily be suited to the fastest path. And what is the fastest path for you might be a different path. Keep in mind, there's over 1 million different ways that you can make money. There's 1 million different jobs. There's 1 million different businesses that you can build. There's so many different possibilities and people can possibly fathom. You don't need to necessarily narrow yourself to like, how do I make money as fast as possible? But I do want to answer this question for those who are interested. This is the answer. Look at any dude who's made millions of dollars in his 20s. How is he doing it? He makes Instagram reels talking in his Lamborghini. He does marketing content. He works in sales, or he has a sales team behind one of his offers, and he has a value proposition skill usually. They teach e-commerce, they teach affiliate marketing, they do copywriting, and I guess copywriting is also sort of sales and marketing too. Now, the second component of what it takes to make millions of dollars in your 20s is about decision making, and it's about intelligence. Being a very intelligent individual is actually a handicap in the online business space. And a lot of times in business, it's actually better to be stupid. But the perfect position to be in to make millions of dollars in your 20s is smart enough to make good decisions, but stupid enough to not overthink them. Can you make a fast, good decision? If the answer is yes, success. If you either make a slow or a bad decision, then you're going to fuck yourself over in business. But even if you make a bad decision, that's okay, because through bad decisions, you fuck up and you learn lessons, and you stack enough lessons and you give yourself a competitive advantage where you've acquired wisdom that no one else in the world has. When you fuck up in an infinite sum of different ways, you will become an individual that no one else has ever met before, with insights that no one else has ever heard of before. And in the online world, people love a new and refreshing insight into how the world works. This is why Tate got so famous. So everything that he said, the world had heard for the first time, but they had always somehow thought within their brain. Whether people agreed with it or disagreed with it, it was a new perspective that they hadn't thought of before. And all these other guys who can never get as famous as Tate regurgitating the same shit, they never get to the same level because Tate was the first to say all these different insights that he had. And that was because he had lived an experience and a life that no one else has ever lived, at least currently alive. Now, opinions aside, I'm just looking at this objectively. If you are so stupid that you keep fucking up, you'll eventually learn enough lessons and get enough wisdom that you are actually positioned well. So let's talk about point number A. All my really, really smart friends who would smash me at online business, they would destroy me at online business, are not making much money. This is because they're so smart that everyone was like, yo, bro, you should go and become a lawyer. You should go and become an engineer. You should go become a financial analyst. You should go become a doctor. And they were like, yeah, you're right. I'm really smart. I probably should. And then their family said it, and society said it, their school teachers said it, and they just firmed their entire life that they're so smart that they should go become a really high-paid doctor who literally makes my monthly salary and I barely work. And that's the reality of the world. And so these smart people, they go on to obviously really help the world in these traditional careers. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you are pressured to take a certain path, it's very hard to consider the alternatives because you know you're going to do this path that they tell you to do so well. And that's why people who are very smart very rarely get into online business, because they don't need to. No one's telling them to. Everyone's telling them to do something else, and they're going to crush the thing they're going to do. Everyone that I meet in online business is not that smart. I've met some really fucking stupid guys who somehow make more than doctors. It's absolutely absurd. Some guys, I don't even know how they are able to navigate the world and not die. Like, they can't even find their way to book a hotel. They can't even like walk straight, and somehow they're making a fucking doctor's salary. I don't know how they do it. The reason that they can pull it off is because money from online business is not about how smart you are. Intelligence isn't that important. It's about your ability to make speedy decisions, learn from your mistakes, and minimize the time you spend thinking and maximize the time you spend taking action. And it's also about consistency. The guys that I know who are not very smart, but also they make a lot of money from the things that they love doing online, they were doing that for years. I have a friend, he's like the freelance guy. He's like the website guy. He's the #1 rated on this freelancing website. He makes like 10, 20K a month. He works 3-4 hours a day. He could scale it if he wants to. He could run a coaching program if he wants to. He could make 50, 100K a month if he wants to. But he's happy with his doctor's salary, right? 200K a year. And he's not very smart. He was able to consistently apply himself for like 5 years to his skill. And he's now just the best on this freelancing sites for this one particular skill. He's the best. If you want to get the best website, you go to this guy. And what did he position himself in? Well, the online education space, he creates website, and he is creating content that people watch, then go to work with him online. And that's how he's managed to make all this money. Now, if my really, really smart friends were to go, hey, why don't I take the alternative path? Fuck it, I'm going to go learn how to make an e-commerce store. They would do so well. But that's the thing. The smart people don't really go off the traditional path. Whereas guys like me who are like smart enough to make good decisions, but they're sort of stupid in some ways. We were never really told you'd be a great doctor, you'd be a great lawyer. We weren't really told we'd be a good anything. We were told maybe we'd be a good tradie, we'd be a good plumber. we'd be a good teacher. But we were never really pressured as if we'd crush it at a particular path. And because there's not the pressure, it's a lot easier for us to go alternative routes. And that's why I was able to quite easily branch off into crypto and do all this alternative shit, because no one really expected anything of me. No one really cared. They were just like, no, do whatever you want. There's nothing that you'd really be great at. That's basically what it was. And I was like, okay, I'll just do whatever I feel like then. And then all the other guys I know online, they're like, yeah, man, I wasn't that smart. I just stumbled across this online thing. And so the second point I want to make is the speed of decisions is more important than the quality of decisions below 1 million a year. If you're the CEO of Google, obviously your decisions matter and you get paid for the quality of your decisions, because if you fuck up, it's big consequences. When you're literally making a tiny little e-commerce store or you're doing your first crypto investments, the quality of your decision doesn't matter because you have basically zero downside. If you fuck up your first e-commerce store, you spend $100 on ads, you lost literally nothing. Oh, 5 hours of work. No one cares. When you're the CEO of Google, your decisions matter. That's $1 billion at stake. Your little e-commerce store doesn't matter. So at the beginning of your journey, until you make, let's say, like $1 million a year or 100K a month, it's all about the speed of your decisions. How quickly can you fuck up, make mistakes, and build a database of lessons and wisdom learnt? How quickly can you pave your way through 10,000 decisions? Because between you and being a millionaire, there's about 10,000 decisions that you need to make. And once you make these decisions, you're a millionaire. Now, do you want to make these decisions slowly, like a really smart person would? Or do you want to make these decisions really fast, like a stupid person would, who actually ends up going on and making the money like we've talked about? Make the wrong decision fast will get you further than a correct decision slow. Really important lesson here. Now, the third point I want to make is that dumb people don't overthink starting. Smart people do. It's easy to never quit if you're too dumb to think you're going to fail. Smart people have a problem where they are able to comprehend what needs to go into achieving a certain outcome. And the problem with big outcomes is they take a lot of work. And so if you're smart and you want to achieve a big thing and you know everything that goes into achieving that, you're very likely to not go down that path because you're going to be like this, oh man, I want to be a famous artist, but most artists fail. There's a statistic that 98% of artists never make enough money to make a living. Oh man, I'm not that great at music now. I'm going to have to spend like 1,000 hours on this. I'm going to have to hire a mentor. There's all these things I'm going to have to do. Man, there's a high chance I might fail. I just won't do it. That's the smart person. Now, this is the dumb person. I mean, I could pull it off. What could I lose? I mean, he could do it. Why can't I do it? That's the difference in thinking. Smart people psych themselves out of starting because they can understand the probability of the path that they want to take. Dumb people are too stupid to comprehend how low of a chance they have of success, and so they're willing to just start. And really, all you need to do is just start. Whether you fail or not doesn't matter, because eventually if you keep trying at something, you will eventually succeed. And that's what dumb people actually end up getting. They don't actually think that, but that's the outcome they end up getting. They just keep trying and then eventually it works. For me, for example, I thought I was going to double my money every year in crypto. When I first got into crypto, I have it written in like a document. I was like, oh man, if I just put 10K in, I'll double it every year. I'll be a millionaire in 4 years. I lost money for the first 2 years. So what I thought would happen and what happened was completely and utterly different, down to my naivety and stupidity. But that was the best thing that could have happened, because if I understood the work I would have had to put in, the money I would have had to lose, I would have probably not lost that money. I would have probably put it somewhere else. Oh, wait, what? I would have to lose like 10 grand before I made money? Oh, I'd rather just go on a holiday to Europe than that. I don't want to lose 10 grand, right? So you can sort of see the difference here. And I made a little table to help you understand this. So you watching this video, think about this for a second. Are you dumb, middle, or smart? There's no right or wrong answer. I don't have any judgment on anyone for their intelligence level. I would consider myself in the middle, dumb in some ways, but smart in other ways. But basically, if you're in the dumb category, this is what you need to do. If you're dumb, you need to lean into your naivety. This is the power of being a little bit stupider. You can just take action without thinking. It's beautiful. You need to get mentors to rapidly level up your thinking. If you're dumb, you probably inherited the IQ from your parents, meaning that your parents are probably dumb. And if you live with your parents or you associate with people that your parents associate with, they're probably dumb too. Meaning you're probably surrounded by a lot of dumb people, meaning you probably have bad mental models on how the world works, because dumb people do not think about the world correctly. So what you need to do in this instance is you need to surround yourself with people who have the correct mentors, who've achieved success, who know how the world actually works. And you need them to fix your mental model, because that's one thing that will hold you back if you are on the dumber side. You don't think correctly. So get people that can level up your thinking. A lot of people say to me, Daniel, like, you're actually like pretty smart. How did you get this? I'm not smart. I just had mentors who literally rapidly leveled up my thinking. Like, You speak to me 4 years ago, I was an idiot. I didn't know anything. You speak to me now, you're like, oh my God, this guy knows stuff. It's not intelligence. I just had mentors who helped me. Win through volume. Your superpower as someone who's not like super smart is you can just execute. So lean into that. If you're a content creator, film heaps of content. This is why a lot of those influencers who go viral online, they don't seem that smart. It's because they just win through volume. They don't overthink it. They just film videos. Hire intelligence to fill in gaps. So when you start to make money, if you're a little stupid, it's going to start to cause problems. But you can hire intelligence. There was a video I saw online and this guy was like, I got 5 degrees. And the interviewer was like, how do you get 5 degrees? And he was like, well, I hired them. I hired a doctor, I hired an engineer, and I hired a lawyer. And it's like, I got 5 degrees. It was sort of cringe, but it's true. You don't have to be smart. You can just hire for any of the gaps that you have. I'll tell you what, I hate math and I hate spreadsheets. I hate all that stuff. I hate phone calls. I hate taking calls. And so what I do is, for all these things I don't want to do, I just hire someone to do them, right? You do the spreadsheets, you do the coding, you do the calls, done. Now I don't even have to ever do it again. So that's what you'd need to do as on this side. Now, if you're in the middle, you're in the gold zone. You're not smart enough that people said you'd be a good lawyer, but you're not stupid enough that you could be like addicted to drugs or living in the ghetto or something like that. So you're in this nice little gold zone. So you can maximize both sides. You need to lean into the fact that you're smart enough to make good decisions, but not smart enough to overthink them. So just do everything that both sides want to do. Now, if you're smart, number one problem is overthinking. You need to actively work on removing this. All my smart friends, the biggest thing they struggle with is overthinking. They overanalyze, overthink. Writing an essay in high school, obviously thinking is important. You have 8 weeks to submit an essay. Thinking is key. In the real world, when you're at the bleeding edge of an industry trying to get rich in your 20s, thinking is not important. It's about decision making, because every day, especially in crypto, the industry is different. And if you don't make a fast decision, you're going to fall behind. You need to create a habit for action. So when you overthink and overanalyze, you start to freeze up. Oh no. For example, one of my friends is really, really good at sewing and he's made some really cool clothes and he's really deep in the fashion industry. But the problem that he has is that he struggles to push through overthinking about making videos. He's got a bit of perfectionism, and so this translates into his content where if the video isn't perfect, he won't upload it. For quite a while, he wasn't uploading anything. And when you don't shoot shots, you're not going to hit anything. And not shooting shots is worse than shooting a bad shot. You need to shoot shots even if they're going to be shit. Same with dating, same with business, same with networking. Better to shoot than to not shoot. But that's what he couldn't do. Couldn't just upload a crap video. It had to be perfect. He's getting better now, but that was the problem that held him back for a long time. It's just one shit video that has to blow up that kicks off the feedback loop to make better ones. And focus on making fast decisions. Smart people think that thinking is their superpower. It is in a lot of ways, but it's also their kryptonite. If you don't make fast decisions in the bleeding edge of an industry, you will fall behind. Okay? Now, I want to show you some tweets to help emphasize everything I just said. Mistakenly uncovered one of life's ancient insights. Focus isn't conscious. Drive fast enough, you're less likely to make a mistake. Lift heavy enough, the entire chain melds as a unit. Less likely to get hurt. Crimp slowly. To pick up a pen is when you tear your back. System is unlinked. This relates back to what we've been talking about. Speed, energy, just movement. Start shooting shots so that you can operate from flow state. And when you operate from flow state, you make the best decisions. You're operating from your best possible position. There's simply no way to compete with a guy who's willing to make hundreds of mistakes in a row and fuck shit up. He's going to mature, learn, and grow faster than everyone else and turn plenty of those fuck-ups into miracle saves. We talked about this before. Making mistakes is great because you learn lessons which give you wisdom, which give you a unique outlook on life, which allow you to take a path that other people don't know to take, and it can take you to beautiful places. There's a lot of power into being young, stupid, and myopic. There are journeys that take so long to complete that if you knew it, you'd give up. Being delusional, thinking it'll take a month is a blessing. In a month, you think you need one more. 10 years go by before you know it and you're there. That is so true. Like I said, when I got into crypto, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to start making money soon. I don't need to wait 3 years to make money. I was so naive to the reality that I just kept thinking one more month, I'm going to be making money. And eventually it's been 4 years and you're printing. Always prided myself on being able to shut down fear and doubt mechanisms and just go into anything and wing it. Your skills and talent just burst forward naturally when you live like this. No second guessing. I make more mistakes than anyone I know, but my wins are bigger too. And that's another thing to remember. Decision making is asymmetric. If you make a lot of mistakes, but the mistakes have small downside, all you need is a couple decisions that you make that have big upside for things to change massively. And usually most mistakes have tiny downside. Like, when have you ever made a mistake that had massive downside? Doesn't really happen. There's only a few mistakes that you make that really actually make a difference. So that's the insight for you guys. What does it take to make millions in your 20s? You have to recognize where you are on the intelligence scale, and you need to maximize for fast decisions and for action. And you need to position yourself in an industry that's booming, and you need to learn skills that make you the most amount of money in the fastest time. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Little disclaimer, again, not everything is about making money as fast as possible, but if you want to know what it takes to make millions in your 20s, this was it. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.